Thomas DeLau begins his adventure as he washes ashore on an island called Coral Town. He meets a boy named Lance, and together they head into town. There he meets the inhabitants of the island and the Quill family. Linda, the grandmother, Lance's sister, Sarah, and Lance himself. Something strange is happening on this island as he hears of the jungle pirates. After a scuffle with the town guards, he convinces the shopkeeper Bethany, a 6'9" bald black man, to come along to the mines in order to investigate. Bethany and Thomas come across a couple miners along with the pirates invading this town. A jungle pirate is killed by Thomas. Then Bethany and Thomas are taken captive by the first mate of the jungle pirates, Arthur. He leads them down deeper into the mines where they come face to face with the council and mayor of the island, as well as the captain of the jungle pirates, Gallows George. Guided by Arthur, they're allowed to leave in search of this key for George, who is working for a mysterious pirate captain named Kenway. Before entering the hedge maze, Bethany introduces Thomas to Rosie, a woman doctor who heals their wounds, and asks them to find her wife, who could be in the maze. Now Bethany and Thomas enter this dark hedge maze in search of a mysterious moon key that will unlock something at the bottom of the town well. Thomas and Bethany navigate the huge hedge maze. They come across strange characters along the way, as well as monsters and treasure. Bethany gives strange comments regarding his past, and Thomas finds a sea-stone bullet left in the maze. Susan, a small girl about Sarah's age, is found within the maze, along with the thought of her brother being trapped somewhere within this maze. She clings to Thomas and Bethany and is left later with Olivia. Zane, a man of comparable age to Thomas and Bethany, is also found. He wields 2 swords and is within this maze to find a mutated dog, his former puppy that killed his own wife after it mutated into a Cerberus. He later leaves with Daniel in order to find the Cerberus. Daniel, a strange man with scars around his body, seems to live within this maze and is after Barry, but more importantly, after a treasure map that leads to something special. He leads the party through the maze and then leaves with Zane under the promise of payment for the location of the Cerberus. Olivia is a woman older than Bethany and is a researcher living within the maze as well. However, her reason is to document and study the strange phenomenon going on with the wildlife of the maze and its oddities. She later stays in her shack with a frightened Susan. After long hours of being within the maze, Thomas and Bethany reach the center, and Bethany reveals his past as a former pirate as a monster attacks a mutated ensign marine officer. The party discovered a monster of unspeakable horror hiding at the center of the maze, one more dangerous and intelligent than the others, a mutated marine officer. Together, Thomas and Bethany were chased inside a huge manor by dozens of mutated and giant animals and insects. Inside, Thomas found Amanda Quill lying dead next to her daughter, Sarah Quill, along with the bodies of many Marines. However, things weren't as safe as they could be, as just when you attempted to duck into one of the rooms for safety, you were stopped by a giant gorilla and the mutated Marine officer. Nowhere left to run, just when all seemed lost, Zane leaped from the second floor, dealing a significant blow to the gorilla and buying you just enough time to join the fight. With the gorilla defeated and the Marine officer's sights on little Sarah, it's revealed that she's eaten her mother's devil fruit, giving her power over vegetation and plants. Using her newfound power, she unknowingly delivers the finishing blow to the Marine officer. After a failed escape attempt from the manor, Thomas found himself surrounded by dozens of mutated and giant creatures, ready to kill him. Channeling his inner willpower, he released a sudden burst of Conqueror's Haki, knocking all the creatures either unconscious or brought them to their knees. This gave him just enough time to retreat inside and reconvene with his crew, who were also affected by his outburst of will. Bethany, being the only one conscious, was moved by your ability and stunned by the revelation of his true name, Thomas DeLau. Soon after revealing his desire to join his crew, he accepts, and Bethany now sails under the flag of Thomas DeLau. Bethany, Zane, Sarah, and Thomas escape the witch's manor, only to be cornered by the mutated creatures of her creation. Zane and Sarah leave to find an exit through the maze. As Bethany is in trouble, Thomas decides to return to his newfound crewman's side, to stay and fight off the creatures of the maze. Just as it seemed they were going to be overrun and all would be lost, a man bursts through the hedge maze itself. He guns down a few of the creatures, then declares himself to be Gadi Venetati. The new pirate crew of Thomas and Bethany leave through the newfound exit made by this newcomer. They return to Linda only to find out Lance has gone missing again. However, this time, Thomas has a lead on the Moon Key. Thomas leaves for the church, looking for answers to this island's mysteries and a key to save its residents. At the church, he finds another mystery, a woman by the name of Mary Ann. He concludes to uncover the secret behind the church. He must need Sarah to use her newly acquired ability to reveal it. They return to the town and split up to find Sarah. Thomas instead finds Lance in a struggle with a jungle pirate. Saving him, the two return to Granny's. Gotti arrives to join the party as they head up to the church with Sarah. There, Sarah unleashes her power and reveals a secret underground room her mother used to use for research. Through the papers and research documents, a clearer picture of the island's mysteries events come into picture. Moonkey in hand, screams can be heard from upstairs in the church. Rushing, they find Gotti raining bullets on what looks to be creatures made out of vine. His ammo seems to be ineffective against the two creatures that seem to have a different aura than the mutated or gigantified creatures from earlier. The party battle the guardians of the church, creatures made from pure vegetation left behind by Amanda Quill to protect secrets within the church. Realizing these creatures are intelligent and capable of communication through Sarah, they let everyone pass, after which everyone returns to the town only to find Rosie and Marianne's house to be ransacked. With 15 minutes left until execution, Bethany and Thomas split up. Thomas quickly confronts Ronnie about his involvement in the creation of a sea-stone weapon made to kill Amanda. Once inside the town hall, Thomas sees Bethany unconscious on the floor. After he's woken up, the council members are freed. Finally, there's a confrontation with George in the mayor's office. Bethany is unable to further the situation due to George threatening to reveal a secret from his past. Thomas takes a handle on the situation, telling Mary everything will be okay before decking Arthur in the face, causing the trigger to go off and killing Marianne in the process. Screaming out for Mary, Bethany is shot in the leg by George, revealing a strange interest in Thomas. Tensions high, Thomas and George enter the well and retrieve the sea-stone weapon, a chestplate armor made of sea-stone. Thomas and George leave the well, with George in possession of the armor. However, everyone will soon find themselves to be on an island inhabited by a vice admiral of the Marines. Mary's body in Bethany's arms, he gives Thomas a cold shoulder, telling Thomas to handle Coy himself. Thomas decides to confront the vice admiral head-on and goes to the docks with Arthur. There, stepping off the giant frigate, is a man with dyed jet black hair and white roots. He stands at an impressive 8 feet tall, alongside 10 other normal Marines. This is a man they call Monkey D. Coy. Face to face with a Marine Vice Admiral, Thomas decides to tell him as much as he can of what's been going on here. Coy sends his top guard to the town hall, then questions Thomas further about information regarding a man they're hunting down, Gotti of the Rain. Coy shows interest in Thomas's middle initial and is suspicious of his involvement in these events. As Coy searches for Cameron, Susan's brother, who was lost in the maze, Thomas uses this time to reflect on his actions. Only a few minutes later, Coy returns with the child. However, he must take a call from headquarters and cannot accompany Thomas to confront George. Even so, Thomas enters the town hall, only to find the jungle pirates have escaped. With Gotti missing in action, Thomas heads to the Ann household. Here, there's a heated, emotion-filled confrontation with Bethany. No matter the circumstances or surrounding events, Mary Ann gets the proper burial she deserves. Together, they pay their respects as they bury her, after which it's found out that Coy has his eyes set on the Quill household. Thomas manages to keep Coy in check long enough to protect the Quills, reasoning with him. Regardless, he's still a pirate, and a battle ensues in the town square. Bethany is nearly taken down in one shot by Coy as Sarah joins the engagement. She entangles the Marines with her newfound power, but in the process reveals that power to the Marines. Even Gotti joining the fight is nearly futile as the true power of a vice admiral is becoming too much. George using this chaos of the battle to make his escape, leaving Arthur, his first mate, to die. Finally, at a crucial moment in the battle, the guardians of the church appear. Gotti clears a path for the group, staying behind to buy them enough time, but not before giving Thomas a card with significance to the reason he's being chased. The party make their way across the bridge, with Lance breaking away from Thomas's grip at the last second. Raising the sails, weighing anchor, and the helm firmly in the grasp of the new captain, Thomas sails out to sea with Sarah, Bethany, and Linda. The last gaze of Coral Town, Thomas sees as Coy somehow floating in the air, talking on a Denden Mushi. Even through this distance, Thomas is able to make out a single word: Costello.